you think you could look like or feel or be physically when you're in your 60s or in your 70s?
I did try some filters on TikTok.
Right. AI.
AI,
Yeah,
of
right.
course, just to know how I would look in my 60s or 70s. But just in a brief explanation, I would love to look like Clint Eastwood.
Ah,
I mean, Clint Eastwood, he is not young, legitimately not young,
Yeah.
but he still looks fit.
Fitter
know,
than most young people.
Probably.
Yeah, right.
I don't know, like 60s or 70s, but I would love to look like. I can already imagine what J-Lo looks like in her 60s. I'm looking at her in her 50s right now.
Or Jane
like,
Fonda.
Jane Fonda.
I have to give it to Jane Fonda.
Wow. Yeah, there's a lot of very fit people out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does seem like the more senior generation these days, or celebrities, they seem to be getting fitter and maybe sometimes even fitter than like the younger.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you guys, but I kind of want to have that elegant look, like maybe Pierce Brosnan. You don't really look that fit, but you know what I mean, right?
I
You don't,
see where you're
not
heading
too buff,
with that.
right? But you still
Healthy.
healthy, right?
Healthy.
That's what's important. And talking about health or even appearance when we get old, let's have a look at some facts about aging and health. Now, according to the World Health Organization, 1 out of 6 people in the world will be 60 or over by 2030. The share of the population aging 60 years old and over will increase from 1 billion in 2020 to 1.4 billion by 2030. Additionally, the number of people aged 60 and over worldwide will double to 2.1 billion by 2050.
Wow.
At the biological level, aging may result from various kinds of molecular and cellular damage that accumulate over time. This can lead to gradual decline in physical and mental capacity, which can increase the risk of diseases and can even lead to fatality.
So common health issues in seniors, including hearing loss, cataracts, and refractive errors. Yes, my dad had it. Back and neck pain. I had it, as well as osteoarthritis, so chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, diabetes, depression, and dementia. Now, as people get older, they're more likely to develop several health problems simultaneously. Now, this I can vouch for because I have been handling my mom and dad for the past at least 10 years. So that's how I got familiar with all the things revolving around the seniors, the elderly, and how I just found out that there's actually a specialization in medicine. In medicine,
Right.
that there's one called geriatric.
Right.
Yes.
Geriatric. Now that's I just found out.
Yeah.
And I felt like taking care of seniors is not only about, getting them to, to the malls, food and stuff like that, but also to get them to move
Yes.
as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's really interesting. So recently my grand-aunt, she celebrated her 87th birthday.
Yo, 87.
At 87, and she still looked super radiant, although, yes, mobility-wise, it's starting to be challenging, but what I hear is she still walks around the house every single day, and the gardens and everything like that. And I think it's very important to keep our, beloved senior family members active.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
And to delve more into exercise and fitness tips for seniors, let's say hello to our coach today, Putri Nabilla Azwar, a certified fitness trainer. Thank you, Coach, for coming.
You're welcome.
Welcome, Coach Ila.
Hi.
You're welcome.
So,
Hi.
Coach Ila, we understand that, we as young people, we have big goals in fitness, right?
Yeah.
We want to have this body, we have this body. But we understand that realistically for seniors, there's also a goal, but they have to be very specific in accordance to their capabilities, right? So what type of goals are healthy and realistic for seniors to have in terms of fitness and health, exercise?
Okay. I would say a better life quality and independence.
Yeah.
Independence.
Yes,
Okay.
independence. So it's very easy to relate seniors as someone who needs assistance, right?
Oh, yeah, that's
right. Yeah. So when they have their independence through good mobility, sufficient energy, and then good, like ability to mobilize themselves, they would have that independence. So it creates a better quality of life or at least maintaining their quality of life. For as simple as, I don't know, I don't have a lot of experience with my family members being seniors, to be honest, but I notice in some clients of mine or some other trainers, they would say like, oh, they have difficulty, just to put on their own shirt,
True.
getting up and down the stairs, or
Yeah.
carrying groceries,
Right.
or picking up stuff from below, or picking up stuff from above.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think that's a realistic goal that we can set for our seniors to train. Does it
okay.
make sense?
Independence, I like that word.
But our colleague's father here is
Yeah.
a marathoner.
Yes.
Cool.
At
He
how
runs
old?
marathon.
He's over 70.
Wow,
He's over, I mean,
Krishna, are you running a marathon?
not yet, not yet.
Well, Krishna
So,
is not
you-
running marathon.
Are you running marathon
all
once
right.
you retire?
But I mean, he's retired, right? So he has a lot.
Yes.
I mean, I'm tired enough from work as it is, right? so
True,
I kind of just
true.
have my exercise here and there. But I guess speaking about that, sometimes I worry because even younger people at their 40s or whatever, when they're riding their bikes to work, or sorry, bicycles to work, they overexert and sometimes they pass away. And this is what I'm worried about my father as well. He's running full-blown marathons
I know.
in other cities, in other countries. So, I mean, what kind of tips, or what kind of exercises is too much?
Yeah.
Overexertion and could, lead to some dangers for some seniors.
Well, I bet your dad has done it like for years,
Yeah.
right? So I think he basically even know more than us the
Right.
safety for it, right?
Okay.
And I think accountability matters. So if they have like a community or even a trainer as they are going through that, a high intensity competition,
Yeah.
that's going to be helpful to keep them checking on themselves whether this is too much for them or not. Another thing they would check, a regular checkup would help
Yeah.
to make sure that they don't have to, undergo like a medical procedure or medical specialist needs to be, in care of them
Okay.
too much. So like if we're talking in context of your dad,
Yeah.
I think he knows exactly his ability and his
Yeah.
limit.
Sure.
But I understand some people, have that,
Get worried.
not ego, yeah, but just the push
Yes.
because
Okay.
of like the adrenaline. But accountability matters. So I think community would help.
Right.
But okay, in this kind of case, we might not experienced it ourselves yet, because we still have a long way to go.
Hopefully, amen.
Hopefully, yeah. Cross my fingers till it hurts. But what are the things that seems to be the common problems among seniors when it comes to exercising and fitness and stuff like that?
I think the mindset a lot of times. So I don't know, for my family or my husband's family, they would think that fitness is, related closely to aderai, like a very bulky
Oh,
kind of gym
bodybuilder.
person, yeah, like bodybuilder or like someone who has to be an athlete.
Oh yeah.
While fitness is actually for everyone. It's fit. We want to be fit.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that's one of the common problems, like just the myths. We need
Yeah.
to debunk that myths and educate our parents, even ourselves,
Yes.
so that it can transfer to the younger generation. When they get older, they know exactly that they need to be fit. And then another thing, just the access, the understanding that actually seniors have the capacity to still move in their own ability. They don't have to do like a very complicated high intensity stuff,
course.
Okay.
but they can do stuff, which we will do together later, that are, in their pace, in their ability, in their capacity. And it doesn't have to be very draggy or it's very exhausting.
Yeah.
It just keeps their body adapting to those motions so that they can still access different joint movements.
So the target is actually to be able to move freely
Comfortably.
and comfortably.
Safely.
So comfortably
And paying
and
for it.
safely
Yeah.
in daily activities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's for the seniors.
I would
And
say it's realistic.
realistically.
Yes, yes.
So I just told Krishna that my mom and dad are the constant commentator of the show because they would watch the show every single
Well,
day.
your mama must be watching right now.
Yeah, my mom
right?
will be watching right
Just
now.
looking for some tips.
Yeah, so mama dengerin ya, mama dengerin. Ini untuk orang lansia. And then, so what are the safety precautions should seniors take when starting, let's say, a new exercise program in order to be comfortably moving every single day?
The first thing they should be doing stuff that they are not in pain in. So don't do stuff that makes you in pain. Make sure it's stuff that is challenging enough, but it's not too easy as well. So let's say like, oh, you are not able to stand too long,
Yeah.
then do it sitting down. Don't complicate stuff.
Yeah,
Just do
yeah.
it sitting down. If you cannot rotate your shoulders this much, then do it smaller.
Okay.
So it's okay. And then safety matters. So if we're talking like seniors, maybe it's above 65,
Yeah.
usually
Yeah.
we're talking about 65 years old. It's gonna be very helpful if we have someone with them. Just to supervise them. If it's a trainer or a physiotherapist, that's gonna be awesome because then they know when to progress the training or when they should regress the training.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's gonna be helpful too. And then another thing, it should be enjoyable. I mean, it should. They
That's
should,
important.
Yep. They should understand the practical life skill that they can do if they train this. So let's say like pushing stuff overhead. Oh, in practical life, then they would be able to pick up stuff or putting up stuff above their heads.
Right.
Or picking up stuff from below. Oh, then later on, if I continue this and I gain my strength, I can pick up my grandchildren. Oh, that would be
Yeah.
Oh,
nice.
that's sweet.
Right?
I
Didn't
think
think about
that's
that, yeah.
that's a goal for a lot of people in our age now. Like I see a lot of social media. I see a lot of social media, like my friends like motivating each other on social media. Like my reason to be fit is later I want to be able to pick up my grandkids and things like that, right? Because I see because my mother, for instance, she's still very active and
Yeah.
how old is she?
Oh, your mother's still dancing.
Yeah, my mother's still dancing. So, but I see the difference between my mother and her siblings. So her siblings are less, are less mobile than my mother. And my mother is still running around with my kid. She's a hyperactive toddler. So how can you keep the seniors motivated?
Oh, that is
Because this
actually
is very difficult. Because
my mom is a couch potato.
and what's worse is I feel like the mindset of seniors, they give up much easier than us young people. The fire has slightly dimmed. So how could you motivate them?
I'm not a senior myself,
Yeah.
so I have my mom here, and she's very motivated.
Right.
One of her main motivation is really my daughter. To be able to walk, travel,
Right.
and
Yeah.
pick her up,
Yeah.
carry her, jump with her,
Right.
So I think enjoyment moving with the younger generation or the beloved ones
Yeah.
of your parents or your
Yeah.
grandparents, that will be very helpful.
Right.
The second one, to help them realize on how independent they could be
Yeah.
if they continue to move. So like it doesn't mean that we don't have to give anyone to supervise them when they are alone at home.
Yeah.
But if by any chance we need to leave them alone at home or they have to travel somewhere alone, we have the peace of mind and they also have the confidence to do
Yeah.
so, right? So in my experience, that would help them to be motivated. Yeah,
Because this is something big in Indonesian culture, right? Grandparents, our parents. they're like,
Yeah.
I want a grandchild.
Yeah.
Get me a grandchild, like now or next year. And
But, you
that
know-
was actually one of my motivating factors.
Oh yeah, but I understand. Like I really do understand that there are grandparents who want grandkids ASAP.
Yeah.
But don't take care of themselves to be able to enjoy and play with the grandkids, right? So we really hope that this mindset. What do you do to clients of yours who are losing motivation in the session?
Let's
'Cause
say,
I need this tip.
What I would do, I relate them again. Oh, instead of saying the name of the exercise, I would say, okay, let's now pick up your children. Pick up your grandchildren.
Right.
Okay, let's now, if you don't want to use dumbbells or if you don't want to use any equipment, let's put on your Tupperwares above.
That's creative.
Yeah.
This
So-
is a ball that
Right.
your grandchildren would play with.
Yeah.
Let's try to throw it and catch it. Throw it and catch it. They'll be very happy to play with you. So I think that'll be helpful.
Right. So how it
I think
helps
you are
in their
comforted
daily
by the
routine, right?
gentleness.
Yeah.
Right.
You're not 60 yet, no.
No.
So basically, to motivate them, it's like how does exercise help them in their daily routines,
Yeah.
make them,
Yes.
more active in the day. And I mean, fortunately for me, motivation is not an issue with my parents. However, it's also kind of bad because I get worried as well. My dad's running marathons, and on the seniors, I'm like, Dad, are you sure you're gonna be able to run these marathons? But I guess like another issue or another sort of factor about this is nutrition, right? You want to balance, did they eat before they run?
Their
Sometimes my
diet.
dad, he's so addicted to running, he's like, I'm just gonna run. But did he eat yet? So how do you kind of balance like the nutrition and what kind of things do they need to be mindful about
Yeah.
when it
For
comes to
seniors, yeah.
exercise?
For seniors.
Right.
I would say in Indonesian context.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are not a protein seeker.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes?
Yes,
You
that
agree
is
with that?
Carbs.
That is
Carbs.
true.
We eat too much carbs.
Yes.
Yep. And carbs are easily found. Easily found. So I think for seniors, they really have to prioritize their protein intake to maintain their bone density, to maintain their muscles. I understand there are a lot of complications or medical conditions that might sometimes hinder them to consume too much.
Yeah.
And sometimes not the mistake, but just the less correcting or the less contributing thing that is not helping the seniors with it is the way they cook it. So don't blame the protein. We want to try to cook it in a way that is helpful for the body as well. But the protein itself really needs to be prioritized because of our culture and how easy it is for us to access only carbs and feel full with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say if you have to take one tip from me about nutrition for seniors, go get your protein.
So if protein is hard to find or to because as you mentioned before, some seniors they have restrictions in terms of diet and foods, right?
Yep.
What do you think are alternatives? Like there are specific milk, milks and formulas out there for seniors
For seniors, yes.
to have their protein intakes, and what do you think is possible?
I think we still need to go for real foods first still.
Yeah.
Because like, let's say whey protein is still a supplement. So it's still just a support if we cannot fulfill our protein from the real foods, right?
Yeah.
So the medical specialists who handle the seniors, I think would be very happy to list down the protein that they can actually take in, yes. And maybe some dietitian or nutritionist would help on how should they cook it, on how should they process it.
Right.
Because I understand like ultra processed food or even packaged foods wouldn't be a great help, especially for seniors.
Yeah, true.
So if they can go for real foods and find like different things that God has made for in this earth to just like
God
have the
has made.
protein, yep, go get it.
Go get it. Yes, I agree to that.
I totally do, and it is a debate, right? To convince the previous generations that no, you're not supposed to have more rice than the proteins on the plate because you're not going to get it's not very healthy that way. But that's the Indonesian culture, and it's very, very important that I think we educate each other and ourselves from as young and early as possible. Because I heard that teaching old dogs new tricks is slightly harder, but. For the next See the Stories, we'll continue after the break. Don't go anywhere. And we're going to try some exercise routines to help our senior loved ones. Stay tuned.